Hi! So today I'm going to try something new. I found this at the Dollarama. This is the Red Heart Pompadoodle yarn. So I'll just open that up to show you. And I didn't know what to do with this, so I just, Googled it and saw what people were doing and thought I would try it myself. So there's about 4 inches of yarn between each Pom Pom. And I picked a color that would go in my bathroom because I like the turquoises. And I'm going to try to make a carpet. So I bought this carpet backing on Amazon. And I'm going to crochet it through. So I will show you that. So let's first look at the details of the Pompadoodle. So, I can't read this, so maybe I'll read it later. I am nearsighted, I'm wearing my contacts, and to read up close is easier without my contacts in, so we'll just do that later. Anyways, so I have a rectangle that's about the size I like for in front of my sink on the floor, and I'm gonna find the center, so I'm just gonna fold it over. And with a marker, I'm going to mark where the center is because I want to start at the center. And if I was doing a circular, I would be going around and around, but I want to do it rectangular. So I'm going to go, how am I going to do this? Anyways, we'll figure it out as we go because that's what I do. This one's a little bit tangled for some reason, so I need to find the end. This is interesting. I don't seem to have the end. I'll get back to you when I untangle this. Okay, so I did read the label, and on the back is instructions on how to do this, and it shows for what you need for crochet and what you need for doing it a different way. And for the crochet hook, it should be 9mm, and I only have a 3mm, but that's what I have, so that's what I'm going to try to use. That's why I'm having problems with slipping. It would work a lot easier if I had the proper size. So go buy the proper size. Anyways, it's 14 yards on the ball, and it says you need 2 balls to do an 18 by 22 inch. I measured mine's 20 by 24 inch, so I'm gonna need at least 3 balls. But I have lots, so I'm fine. So anyways, to start, I'm starting at the center where I've put my mark, and my yarn is underneath. And I'm gonna go just past the first ball, so I'm gonna go into the first square and bring the yarn up, like so. And then go into the second square and bring the yarn up and do a simple crochet slip stitch. Now, the reason I'm having an issue with this is because my hook isn't the right size. So you should be able to twist your hook and go through the first loop. Like so. And then go into the next square and do that again. A simple crochet slip stitch. Ah, it worked that time. Okay, so we're just gonna do 2, and then we're gonna skip a square. So I came up in that square, so I'm gonna skip a square, and I'm going past the next ball to the next section of yarn, and then I'm gonna bring that through. Now you need to make sure you don't pull too tight because this can scrunch up and then it's not nice on the back of your rug. So then we're going to go into the next square and bring it up again and pull through so that you have a simple crochet slip stitch. Now, you're probably hearing my dog in the background because she's looking out the window and barking and growling at people that are snow blowing. Okay, so we're going past the third ball and bringing up the cord and doing a slip stitch, and then into the second square. So I'm doing 2 stitches between each pom-pom, and then I'm skipping. So I go into each square, 2 stitches, and then skip a square, and then go into the next one. So the skipping a square gives room for the pom-pom to sit. Now I'm gonna turn. I've got 4 balls on. I'm gonna turn and I will skip a square. Because I'm doing rectangular rug, I'm gonna work in a rectangular motion. Then I'm going into the next square and doing a second slip stitch. It's getting easier. So those 2 are side by side, and now I'm coming down rectangular, and I'm going to skip a stitch, and then into the next square, and then skipping a square to have room for my next pom-pom. I'll show this to you in a minute. Okay, so skipping a square to have room for the next pom-pom. Oops, something's wrong. Oh, here we are. Okay, so let's show you that. So I'm getting a rectangular, oops, here we go. Getting a rectangular shape so that my balls are lined up, and I'm doing 2 stitches between each pom-pom, skipping a square and then doing 2 stitches. And it might be easier if I go flat on the table, so that's what I'm going to start to do. So within a couple of minutes, I have done several rows. I'm showing you the back right now where I'm working from. And this is the string from the beginning, which I'm just going to weave through. It'll be fine when everything's attached. So I'll show you the nice side. And that's super soft, and I can't wait to use that as a carpet in my bathroom. Very, very soft. And this is washable, so it'll be great. And the non-slit part will be great on the bathroom floor. So really looking forward to getting this done, and it looks like I'll be able to get it done very quickly. Won't take long. And what else did I want to say? I do keep stretching this out to make sure it doesn't get all bunched up. So you have to pull your string enough that the pom-pom sits right against the backing, but you don't want to pull it so tight that it just bunches right up. So I kept trying to flatten mine to keep it at the right placement. So 2 hooks between each pom-pom is perfect. So I'm going to continue, and it's a bit tedious with a crochet hook that's a little too small because I can't move as fast as I normally would with crocheting. But yeah, the weather's bad and I don't want to go out to the store, so I'm just going to work with what I have. Okay, so I've got quite a bit done and it hasn't been very long, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I've got to the end of my first ball. So I've decided to pull that last string through, and I'm going to pull it through my last crochet loop. And that way I can, it's kind of made a knot, but I just want to weave the tail through. And I can do that with the first tail as well. Just kind of weave it through the pattern. So that's why it's not going to come loose if you ever wash this. So I want you to show, you can hear my dog panting in the background. I want to show you how wonderful it looks. It's just so amazing and so soft and plush. So I'm going to keep on going. Okay, so to start the next ball, there's a tail. So actually it makes more sense to tie the two tails together from the back. And then you can weave those bits into the carpet. That makes sense to do it that way. And then to start the next section, you just have to go one square over. And I'm doing all of my rows, if you see, all of my rows are 2 squares apart in between each row. So I'm gonna go 1 square in and bring the yarn through and then go into the next square. Sorry, I have to help it because I don't have the right size crochet hook. Yeah. And then just continue on like that. Okay, so I finished the second ball and I just want to show you how much I have left. So I didn't quite do it evenly. I have just 2 rows left there, but several rows left here. But that's okay. I can trim the mat or, you know, change my plan. I kind of like that this is oval, but I feel like this is a little bit small still. So I don't know, I'm going to continue. I might stick with the oval plan, but I am going to make it as large as I can because I would like enough space to stand on properly. So that's how it is looking, and I'm very pleased with it. Nice and soft. Okay, so I'm all done, and I love this carpet. I love the oval shape, so I'm going to trim off my corners and then probably use a yarn of the same color to just bind the edges. So I'll show you that in the next section, but I just wanted to show you I made the most of it. I used 3 balls and about 10 inches from a 4th ball. Just to finish it off, I wanted it to look even all the way around. So I do love the size of this. I think it's gonna look terrific, and very happy to finish it. So we'll do that next. Okay, so I could use a white yarn to bind this, but this is a carpet and white probably gets dirtier easier. So I think I'm gonna use this yarn. It's got gray and blue in it, and it goes fine with the grays. So that's what I'm gonna use to bind my edges with. Okay, so I'm finishing off the edges, and I'll just try to get a better view. I'm making a blanket stitch. So a blanket stitch, I'm using a darning needle, so it's a big needle, big-eyed needle. And I'm trying not to get caught in the pom-poms, because if you get caught in the pom-poms, you kind of wreck the pom-pom, and you don't want to do that. So my hand's on the other side, and I'm kind of separating the pom-poms and just coming through the rubber mat and being careful what my needle goes through. I don't want the needle to go through the pom-pom. So I know that's hard to see, but what you want to do is tuck the needle into the loop and pull. So when you finish, you get a blanket stitch, which is not just a slip stitch, but it also brings the yarn across and it is a neater finish. I know that's hard to see. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to use my fingers to separate the pom-poms, come through the grid, and just before I finish that loop, I'm putting my needle inside the loop, and then the blanket stitch forms. So it goes through and across. So this is my finished tricolor one. Tricolor? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 4 colors. And this is my finished solid one, which is a little more rectangular. And I just want to show you the back of this one because I did a little bit differently. But when I finished the edges, instead of doing the blanket stitch, this was so much faster. When I was doing my last row, I folded over the backing and crocheted into that edge. So I did this all the way around, and it finished off the edges. So you can see how the backing was folded over. And it was so much faster than doing the blanket stitch. So let me just show you again what the blanket stitch looked like. It actually looks a little messier. So I preferred the way I did it the second time on this one, which was just folding over the edge. And when I was crocheting the pom-poms on, I was also finishing the edge. So much faster. And oh my gosh, this is so soft. I just love it.